Texhnolyze presents a very grim view of society, but it might not be that far off from our own. I like to take a look at the above-ground society and what it entails. One of the most important characters comes from here, being Yoshi. When the world was first showcased, it's very hard to believe how such a society could bring a person to such despair. In comparison to Lux, it looks peaceful and lively, but this is only on the surface. It's more reminiscent of a ghost town, if anything. The Theonormal are like mere ghosts as they stand around in the empty villages. When our characters get to the main government building, they confront the leader, where they actively refuse to avoid the oncoming shapes. To them, it would be equally pointless to do so about anything. This encapsulates the mentality of the surface world. Everything is docile and met with total apathy. Another example of this is the working environment that Sakimura is in. When he mentions that he killed Yoshi, his boss just shrugs it off. Not to mention his workplace looks like the most soul-sucking corporate job imaginable. All forms of individuality and self-expression are rendered dead. This seems to be a pretty similar situation to modern-day society in a lot of ways. It is corrupt and uncaring. It operates like a slow, stagnant machine. When Yoshi attempts to escape this life and descends into Lux, he finds that it is also in a similar position. It is riddled with corruption, and the people are defeated and accept the way of the city. This is a very prominent thing throughout the people of Gabe. People take everything the seer says as fact and do nothing about it, even in the face of doom. The Gabe leader also believes that the city has a cycle of death and rebirth to it, and that there's no changing it. In many ways, the people of Lux set themselves up for failure. However, it's obvious that many of the people in this world are exposed to cruel hierarchies and a lot of abuse. There's also a limit to how much the people can change thanks to the class pretty much having total control over the city. Below that are basically a bunch of organized gangs trying to assert their power. This results in a sea of broken and indifferent people. Yoshi's solution is to make things change by force. As he pits all these groups against each other, he gives them a reason to keep fighting and living. This does also give them a common enemy as Kano tries to rise to power. The city has become more alive than ever at this point, but it's pretty short-lived. I get the sense that Texhnolyze is very critical about society and the way it's ran. I think the main problem that the series zeroes in on is the apathetic attitudes that society is headed in. Our society has endured a lot of suffering and grief, much like in the world of Texhnolyze. This is almost the norm in our world, and many choose to go indifferent and be emotionally numb to it, especially when a lot of that suffering is out of your hands. This level of apathy eats away at itself. It seems like in past societies they were way less tolerant of this type of attitude. Many men and women were willing to put their lives on the line in order to cause change. People now have become more complacent and silent. Our society may end up getting closer towards Texhnolyze if our indifferent attitude continues. Out of all the destructive forces in Texhnolyze, perhaps none of them are more potent than apathy. What Yoshi tries to do is strive for people to find their own power and realize that they aren't as powerless as they think they are. After all, it only took one man to bring about a spectacle. If society refuses to change, all that's left is a broken and lonely world.